Hey guys, welcome back. So we are here in my kitchen again doing a Hello Fresh recipe. So looking at our ingredients here, I'm already getting a Latin or Mexican kind of vibe. I see a poblano pepper, very similar to one of the other poblano recipes. This time though, we have some chicken breast instead. So let's go ahead and before I get too much into each ingredient, let's look at the ingredients themselves. So the first one we have here is definitely some panko breadcrumb. I already have an idea for what I'm going to do, so I added in about an additional quarter cup of panko breadcrumbs in here. The next ingredient is some sour cream, and then what looks to be like some jack cheese. The next one smells like a very vinegary hot sauce, almost like a Cholula style. It's very, very vinegary. I mean, it's very red, so that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. And this one here has a very strong cumin fragrance to it, so I'm thinking it's probably like a taco seasoning or something like that. It's definitely not just straight up cumin, because I see some red, a little bit of different colors in it. I'm getting maybe some garlic in there as well, so it's sort of like a taco seasoning. The next one looks to be like a chili powder. I'm not sure. It's kind of got a little bit of smokiness to it, but yeah, so probably like some smoked chili powder. So then we have our poblano pepper here. I've got a yellow onion. I've got 6 little potatoes here. And then of course I have my chicken. So I'm not exactly sure what it's supposed to be. Maybe like a crispy chicken with, I don't know. A crispy chicken with potatoes as the side, and then probably the peppers and the onions. The pepper and the onion are maybe supposed to be sauteed up with the chicken, almost like a fajita or like a taco, but there's no tortillas. Excuse me. So I thought about doing just like a fajita because I have some tortillas just in my fridge, but I think I'm going to go a little bit different in a different direction. The last time I had the poblano, it was actually supposed to be for a stuffed poblano, and I'm actually going to do that today. So I'm going to take this poblano pepper, I'm going to cut it in half. It's going to be kind of a lot of filling for what it is, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to 3-step bread half of the poblano, so like 1/2 for 2 servings. So I'm going to bread it in the panko breadcrumb, and then I have some flour here and some egg here, so I'll kind of bread that up, and then I'm going to bake it and get it crispy. I think what I'm going to do with the potatoes is I'm going to do some crispy rounds, almost like a cottage potato. So I'm going to cut these into rounds, and I'm going to use, I think, probably the taco seasoning on the potatoes to make them sort of like a southwestern flavored potato. And then what I'm going to do with the chicken is I'm just going to kind of cook the chicken in a skillet with the onions. And then I also have on my little bonus, on my bonus plate here, I've got some red onion. So I'm going to do a little red onion with a white onion. And then I have some roasted frozen corn. So I'm going to mix that together with the smoked chili powder, and then make that sort of like the filling for the pepper. So it'll be like a chicken and onion filling. I think I'm going to mix the hot sauce with the sour cream. I think that might actually be what it's supposed to be, like what's supposed to be done. I have a feeling that you're supposed to like mix these together and then use that as like a drizzle sauce, and then I'll top it with some of the cheese. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to prepare all my vegetables. I'm going to cut up my potatoes into thin rounds. I'm going to cut up my poblano pepper, and I'm going to bread it and then get that in the oven. And then I'm just going to prep the rest of the vegetables. I will see you guys back when I am ready to cook something. have been in for about 15 minutes, and I just kind of flipped them around a little bit so that they are turned over. I'm going to toss them back in the oven just for the last couple minutes. My Poblano peppers are pretty much done, so they've got a little bit of golden on them. The coating is nice and crispy still. I pulled it out a little bit early because I am going to put the chicken and the cheese on top and put it back in the oven to get the cheese melting. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I've got my pan heating up. I'm going to cook my chicken most of the way through. I'm going to pull it out. Then I'm going to cook my onions and my corn, add the chicken back in with some of the spice, get that all nice and mixed up, and then pull that out once it's done as well. So I've got the chicken that I've decided to cut up into small little chunks, and I'm going to go ahead and just kind of saute this. I've seasoned it up with a mix of that kind of taco seasoning as well as the chili powder, and then I've added some salt and pepper there as well. So I'm going to go ahead and toss this in. At this point, you guys, the chicken is most of the way cooked through. It's still a little under, and I'm going to go ahead and pull it out. I'm going to finish cooking it with the onions and the rest of the vegetables. So I'm going to pull the chicken out. Alright, add in just a little bit more oil and add in my onions. Since I have so much onions here, I'm going to cook them down a fair amount, adding salt and pepper, as well as the reserved chili powder and taco seasoning that I've mixed together. I'm going to add that in there as well. Once the onions are cooked down, I'll see you guys back in just a second. So the onions are nice and cooked down. I went ahead and added in the corn, so that's heating through. I'm going to add the chicken back in and let it finish cooking, including the juices to kind of help deglaze the pan a bit. I wish I had added something green to it, like cilantro or a green bell pepper. I guess that's where the poblano pepper probably came in. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and take my chicken filling here. I'm going to put it into my poblanos. Now clearly this is a lot more filling than will fit in the poblano. So I'm just going to kind of fill it as full as I can. And then I'll have some of the leftover filling kind of just on the side with the peppers. And then I'm going to put the cheese on top and I'm going to pop it in the oven for just a couple minutes to get it nice and melty. I'm also going to take my sour cream and I'm going to add this hot sauce to it. And this is going to be kind of like a little dressing for the potato. But before I do that, let me go ahead and take the chicken mixture. Alright, so I've got a little extra there I'll hang on to. I'm going to take the cheese and put that on top. And then I'm going to put this just in the oven just to kind of get the cheese a little bit melty. And then I'm going to take this sour cream, mix it up with this hot sauce. Alright, Once this is melted, guys, I will see you back for final plating. All right, so final plating, you guys. I got everything ready. So let's go ahead and I'm going to start with the crispy poblano pepper filled with the chicken and onions. And then I've got my crispy potatoes here. All right. Here. So I've got the potatoes. I've got that spicy sour cream, so I'm going to put a little bit of this on top of the potatoes. Alright, I'll put a little bit of extra of this filling here just to kind of fill out the plate. And then the last thing that I'm going to top it with is I have a little bit of pickled vegetables here. It's some daikon radish, it's some pickled red onion, there's some cucumber in there as well. I'm going to put that right on top. And then just for a little extra color, I'm going to add some diced red onion too. Alright, so here is the final product. I've got my crispy stuffed poblano with my chicken and onion filling, and then I've got my crispy potatoes with a spicy sour cream. Alright, so that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the actual recipe. So our actual recipe is crispy southwestern chicken cutlets with Monterey Jack, mashed potatoes, and roasted vegetables. So the recipe does have the chicken being breaded instead of the pepper. So it's a crispy chicken that is cooked in the oven. And then all of the vegetables are cooked together and roasted in the oven, and the potato was a mash. I had a feeling that the potatoes were supposed to be a mash because this potato is a creamier one that probably lends itself more to a mashed potato rather than a roasted potato. But I think, I think it came out pretty well. I think it's interesting too that the hot sauce is just an optional side, and then you're supposed to put the sour cream in with the potatoes, so that kind of makes sense. So a little bit different, but I think it looks pretty successful. I think the pickled vegetables actually will make it taste pretty good. So thanks for joining me, you guys, and I will see you next time.